Welcome back, guys. So today we are going to be removing this head unit. It's been having issues. It comes up and it doesn't really power up right. The display doesn't show. So I mean, it's a good unit. I mean, maybe we could have it rebuilt and kind of do a throwback, or I don't know, keep it for the vintage stock of DSM or 90s parts. So today we're going to go ahead and take this out. First set of screws we're going to be taking off is this one right here and the one directly on the other side. I've already gone ahead and removed this screw. Then second of all is remove the center cup holder. Just lift it up just like that. Next, you're going to want to remove two screws that are here. One is missing on this side, but there's still one right here. When you go to a junkyard, if these still are existing in the cars, recommended picking up some of these. These are always helpful. Next is removing the shift knob. This is a good old school vintage shift knob. If you know, you know. I know we talked about it in previous videos, but this is a Razzo shift knob weighted. Next, you're going to want to remove the face. It should just pop out. Because it does have an aftermarket secondary radio here, it does probably take a little nagging to get it out. Typically you have two screws here, but obviously somebody's already installed this and messed with it, so this center console is kind of jacked up. It looks like they put a self-tapping screw here. That's what's wrong with a lot of people that own DSMs. Nothing ever gets done right. Self-tapping screw, we don't do that, and you don't do that to your Eclipse. Obviously this is broken. There's places where you're supposed to screw it, but obviously this side they cracked it already, so this might be an issue once we replace this. So I'm looking to replace this center console with something that's not damaged. You could just pop it up. When you do that, you still have the cigarette lighter here. You still have the cigarette lighter here, so we gotta disconnect that. So we remove the center console. Guess look what we found that's connected to this head unit. Straight Fast and the Furious PlayStation, so you can play PlayStation on this head unit here. The nasty part that I've seen is that right there, that is a rat's or mice's nest. That is gross. I know this car was, so you can see the poop in there. I know this car was actually, you can see more poop pellets right there. This car was stored in the outdoors for a couple years, so that's nasty. We're gonna vacuum that stuff out because that's not healthy and that's pretty gross. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll mess with all this wiring and we'll take a look and see what's behind here. Hopefully they didn't destroy the original harness. I mean, that was pretty gross that there was a mouse or a rat. I'm assuming a field mice, because this car was sitting, like I said, I think outside. One thing that was kind of messed up is that when people were getting these type of radios or any aftermarket radio installed, a lot of the times the stereo shops that people take these cars to are they hack them. When I say hack, is that I found a wire here that looks like to the e-brake that has been cut, and I'll show you, just take a look. Look at that. So it looks like it's been spliced. So that's why I'm assuming that there's this switch here. This switch here was usually, I'm assuming, a bypass, so that it allows the head unit to play while the car was being driven, because unless the e-brake was applied, you couldn't get any type of video on the screen. Just for safety purposes, back in the days, that's what they would do, so they don't want you to be driving and watching TV at the same time. So stereo shops would create a bypass button like this, and they would bypass it to the e-brake. And so I'm assuming that's what happened here. This one comes from the radio. I'm assuming this went to this switch here that applied to the e-brake. So we're going to try to clean this up as much as possible. And then damn, there's another power wire here that was spliced to the glove box light, and like literally this is crappy job. So it almost sucks, dude. And it sucks to say, but a lot of DSM people half-ass their shit, and this was a half-ass job. Whoever installed this stereo, save your money, get some stuff, get your stuff done right, install right, and don't do hack jobs like this, because eventually this is not gonna fly. Hopefully we could save this. I'm sure I can, but this is crappy. So hopefully, like I mentioned, hopefully we could get, they didn't do what they did here behind the deck, so that we could put our OEM radio, or if we have to do an aftermarket head unit, it's not having to repair people's mess. So yeah, man, don't skip out. Don't go to cheap radio stereo installation places. I know you guys don't, because a lot of people now do YouTube, but yeah, save your money, get some stuff really done. This is not acceptable. Back in the days, a lot of these head units had so much wiring compared to today's unit. What we're gonna try to see here is how bad did they hack the original wiring harness. It doesn't look like they did, but let's pull out all this stuff. I don't know, I'm kind of scared just by seeing that stuff here. I just want to pull this all out and unplug it, because we're not going to use it no more. Whether we have a stereo or not, we're going to unplug it. This is to the head unit. This is to the factory of the car. This looks like they cut some of the wires from the car. You could tell right here, because this is the factory plug. I hate that. That's how you remove an old stereo system. So we're going to remove the factory brackets from the head units. Again, hopefully we're able to reuse the OEM radio, or at least they didn't hack it. I'll show you guys what crossovers and door speakers it has, so that's going to also factor in. Because a lot of these DSMs, and I believe most of them did, I don't know if this year did, but a lot of them came with a amplified system. So that was a reason why a lot of these stereo shops had to bypass some of the wiring and run new wiring to the door speakers, because it was a factory powered head stereo system. So that now separates. So now that separates both of the units. Obviously the Alpine and a single den DVD player. So a lot of people would run a PlayStation 2 to this, obviously to play DVDs or the game, obviously, and obviously they would run a separate single den DVD player to the head unit so that you could play either movies or obviously CDs and stuff like this. So this is very common. A lot of the common things, a lot of these DSMs, and I'm gonna have to check if this car ever had an OEM amplifier underneath the passenger seat. I did see that there was Infinity Kappa crossovers under there, which have been replaced because the doors speakers look to be a mid-range speaker, so they were running a crossover to the doors, and obviously I'm assuming the tweeters on the dash. So very common a lot of times, but you know, a lot of times a lot of these installers, you know, spliced up some of the speaker original harness. So I'm hoping that we could save it and keep it all original. So let's get this out of this car. These wires right here are to the speakers or to the crossovers. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and cut these like that, like that. 1 speaker, 2 speakers, 3 and 4. So these are speaker wire out. This is the original harness. So all we need to do is for the stereo to remove the ground that's inside here. As you guys can see, it does have a factory amplifier, and it has these Infinity Kappa or Infinity Reference actually crossovers here. We're gonna go ahead and take these out as well. This should pop. And we might have to use these again, but for now we're just gonna try to remove everything and try to make sure that we have everything done cleanly. The original amplifier from Mitsubishi that had a partnership with Infinity. So we're gonna go ahead, and there's still a mess of rat stuff in here, so we're gonna clean this out and move this and vacuum it. Obviously the factory amplifier has a plug and a plug to send the information over to the head unit. Here's that, but we're missing the plug, so I'm assuming it's somewhere in here. Here it is, and here's how they spliced it up. So I'm gonna go through this and take these speaker wires out and disconnect it, and hopefully this amp still works. November of '96. Hopefully this still works. So we're just trying to clean it up. If not, we're gonna have to take it to a shop, maybe get it done right, or hopefully get the factory stuff working. We just gotta remove all this wiring from underneath here and from the dash. But we got this. We're just gonna have to put some electric tape on some of the stuff. I'm probably gonna end up going to a junkyard here shortly. Hopefully I can find one of these, and we could do is cut cut one and make this a lot better than this. So yeah, let's take this out, put it back to normal, put this, plug it to this. This might be out because there's been wet. This might be bad because it looks like it's been wet, so I don't know if this amp is still good, but if not, I guess we'll see. But we're taking this stuff out, plugging this back in, making sure these don't touch. We're gonna go and remove this power wire as well. Goes to the back for an amp. If we're gonna redo this eventually, we're gonna just redo everything. So that's trash. Also the remote wire, the power wire, and it looks like, what's this wire? And the RCA wires are run to the back, and then a ground right there. We're gonna remove this too. Check out the ground to the amp. Man, you gotta love that. Loose, double. Screw. This is awful. Again, don't cheap out on your installs. Do it right, get it done right. If you know how to do it, we'll do it right. If you don't, make sure you hire somebody that's going to do it right. A lot cleaner. We're just going to go ahead and put it all back together. Again, we're going to do some electric tape stuff here. The only issue that I see is, well, not an issue, but I don't know where this goes to. If you guys know where this goes to, let me know. I don't see anything unplugged or something nearby, so who knows what it is. The only thing that I'm gonna have to put back together, it looks like the speaker wires from here, which they tapped in and they ran the speaker. They cut off the speaker wires from here to here, so we gotta put these back there. That's about it, and then just some taps they did. But other than that, clean that up and plug it in and see if this works. The factory amp, if it doesn't work, then we're gonna replace it. It should have one or two extra ones. Here is this, I think, for the CD changer that came in the back of the vehicles. This is for the amp, I believe, or one of the other two. Antenna, and then or rear antenna, or one of these two. There's two of these that go into the OEM unit. So yeah, a lot cleaner, a lot better, less mess, less problems. So that ends the video of this uninstalling of the Fast and Furious style Alpine and wiring throughout the whole Eclipse. So it looks like we're gonna have to do some a lot of electric taping. Hopefully not too much. What we're gonna do is look for the OEM radio on the white GSX that I took out and see if that one works, and then plug it right in and see if the Infinity speakers that are in the vehicle now will power up with them, because it is an OEM stereo system. If not, I think I might have some OEM stock speakers laying around that might still be good. But like again, if that doesn't work with the OEM stuff, then we're just going to go ahead and do a reinstall, completely a whole new install of an upgraded sound system in this car. I'd rather not. I'd rather keep it all OEM. But then at the end of the day, it is what it is. But we're trying to keep it as OEM as possible to be very very unique, because there's not too many Eclipses, 2G DSMs, especially GSXs out there that are not been modified or molested. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit a comment below, a thumbs up, and a subscribe before leaving. And yeah, thank you guys for supporting since day one. Save the Eclipse and all my other builds. So let's keep moving.